Friday, Q&A, Fanmail! Lovely. It actually is Friday, so this probably won't go live until much later this evening when it finally gets uploaded. Not a whole lot of news. I've been spending most of my time in my Lego room while the weather allows it. It's cold and damp out here, so I have been neglecting my Nerf world for a little bit. Needed to recover. Too much travel. I've got one more trip. Possibly two more trips. I just want to stay home. Anyway. So there's some questions. There's some good ones. Big picture. Have you organized all of the blasters from your arms deals yet? Mostly. The undisclosed bunker still needs more organization, but they have at least all gotten out there. Mostly. It's a never-ending battle to keep things organized around here. Stardusk Sakura. I've recently acquired a Nerf Enforce Marauder axe from a Fanboy Expo. Any ideas what I should do with it? Or should I just paint it up in orange and black and send it to you? But I definitely like that last option, because I don't think I have a Marauder axe. I think I've got the head for one, but not the handle. But that would be cool. Otherwise, they make lovely wall hangers. Most events I've been to probably wouldn't let you actually use them. They're a little bit rigid, and it says on the thing, don't hit anyone with it. Oh no, my adorable puma is murdering a rival bull. Oh, you are the most adorable thing ever. Brian Drake, will you do a Black Friday Goodwill run? He already did. Stuart Craig, are you getting the Nerf Aliens M41A pulse rifle? Again, already did. S. Skilled Hogginson, could you do a video showing off your medieval armor? I mean, I have had videos where I'm in my armor, I think. If not, there are some videos of me on YouTube fighting in my armor on someone else's channel. Currently, I actually couldn't because my armor is currently on loan to Lieutenant Freifector, who is borrowing it to fight. But someday, I do want to get back into medieval stuff. I would absolutely love to get back into that. I need to find out where the local chapter is, or if there even is one. Maybe I'll start one. That could be fun. Mad Inventor 2, I'm currently designing a smart blaster and was wondering what you think separates the FDL3 from other 3D printed brushless flywheel blasters. A lot of things. It was very, very well engineered. It's not currently here. It was designed to be modular. You can change out the back end, the front end, the mag well. All of those can be changed, so you can have half dart, full length dart, 40-round magazines. You can have full auto, semi-auto, long barrel, short barrel. So modularity and customability is definitely something that made it very, very good. The form factor, I liked that it was SMG, but you could put a stock on it. You could put a longer barrel on it. The controls were very simple. And very diverse controls. You could do things like lock the FPS, so you could take it to an event, set the FPS, test it on their chronograph, and then lock it so that you couldn't change it. Which is a good feature if when they're worried about people, chronoing it at 1 and then dialing it up as soon as they walk away. The ability to adjust the FPS, it had a dial, like the one I have, the semi-automatic one that's usually here, it does have an external dial that allows you to adjust the FPS, but then there was an internal one that allowed you to set what the max of that external one was. So while you could still take the battery housing off and adjust it, it was additional steps, and every event I've been to considered that to be acceptable. No, I guess it might just be me. No one questioned that I was the type of person that would adjust the FPS, but features. It had a lot of features. It was also robust. It was also well supported. That really did help. That they had a support page that you could go to ask questions, and they would help you troubleshoot issues. The Pew Pew also has that. They've got a Discord specifically for the Pew Pew. So having that level of support is definitely very important. Plenty of features is something that set it above, and the modularity were all things that I think really set it above a lot of the other ones that I've seen. Now, there are more and more coming out, since the FDL is no longer available. People are obviously, like yourself, designing more, so Those are the things that I would like to see. One thing I would also ask is don't have any screws going into PLA. Try to design it so that it does not involve screws being screwed directly into PLA, because that's just a bad design in general. So there's my thoughts. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Wizard builds. Last year I hosted a small Nerf war for my class and would like to scale it up. I attend a small school, about 250 to 300 students, K through 12. I want to ask the senior guidance counselor about having a school Nerf war as a senior fundraiser. The location is excellent and I doubt the school's faculty would have an issue with it. How would you approach organizing this type of event? That is a good question. Obviously reaching out to the school is going to be the first thing. And you're going to want to have as much of your plan set up before you even go talk to them, because they're going to have a lot of questions and it's best if you have the answers. Things you're going to want is, one, your rule set. What exactly is the game going to involve? They're going to want to know, is it going to be fun? Is it going to be fair? How are you going to be setting up teams so that it's enjoyable for everyone? How are you organizing that? So you're going to want to get all of that organized. Exactly what scenarios are you going to run? What mechanics are you going to use? If it's K through 12, you're going to want, I would suggest, relatively simple mechanics. I've got my whole, game theory series if you want to know about designing a game and that sort of thing. But you're also going to want to have equipment. That's going to be a big one, is if you're going to have 300 people, where are you getting 300 blasters? Are they bringing their own? Are you providing blasters? Same thing with ammunition. Are you going to have all the different ammo types available, or are you only going to provide one? What ammo type are you going to be using? Things like that. Logistics. Safety. They're going to require that you have eye protection. Where is that coming from? You can get eye pro for about $1 a piece on Amazon, but you're still looking at, I don't know how many of the 250 to 300 people might show up. But that's going to be a concern. Eye protection is going to be something they should absolutely require, and you should absolutely require. The last thing you want is for someone to get hurt and for this event never to happen again. So where's iPro coming from? Again, you can make it so that they are required to provide it. It's not hard to get a hold of a pair of goggles or stuff like that. The school might have some available for things like the chem lab probably has eye protection. I don't know if they'd let you use it, but these are things to consider. Where are you getting your eye protection? And they're also going to, who's going to be running it? Who's going to be the referees? Do you have adults that are going to be doing the moderating? Are you going to be doing the moderating? A large-scale event, you need to have multiple people that are in charge, that know what's going on and that can answer questions, that are watching what's going on and making sure things are happening smoothly. The larger event, the more infrastructure you're going to need. It's a lot to think about. And these are all things that you're going to need to work out ahead of time. When you go into the office to pitch this thing, you need to have the full plan, that you can just go, here's my idea, as opposed to walking in and going, I want to have a Nerf war, is that okay? That's not going to fly. You're going to need to have your plan sorted out. So, yeah. Feel free to reach out to me if you have other questions, other specific questions, and I'd be happy to answer them. All right. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Loikfa? Looks like Loikfa. Your Monday Mod Tips video covers how to brass magazine-fed springers and single-shot springers, but doesn't cover smart AR blasters. In two previous examples, the brassing involved removing the AR, but that's obviously not something you want to do in, for instance, a 4 Victory. Do you have any suggestions regarding this conundrum? My personal answer is just don't try to brass a smart AR blaster. They tend to not have as... It's a lot more difficult. It's not impossible, though. The key is that you need to not mess up the air restrictors, because if the brass goes in and permanently holds the air restrictor down, then it's never going to fire the next dart. It'll only fire the first dart. So you can just put in less brass, which is the easy solution, is just put in, a shorter piece of brass that doesn't go the full length of the barrel, only, seals the front part. This will still give you a better seal and will still give you much of the benefits, but won't, interfere with that smart AR. Some smart ARs, you can actually get the brass all the way down and it won't interfere, but I couldn't tell you which ones are and which ones aren't. And generally, in order to seat the brass that far down, you need to drill out the barrel, and you're not going to be able to do that without messing up the smart AR. Most Nerf barrels, you can actually fit brass in most of the way without having to drill. It's just that last half inch of the barrel where the dart is actually tight that you usually have to drill out. Well, in a smart AR blaster, you don't want to go that far in anyway, so you wouldn't need to. The other issue is going to be they almost always have a post, and it can, if you do end up having to drill out the barrel, that post is going to get in the way, and if that gets too befouled, that will also potentially prevent the AR from sealing and from the smart AR from actually going all the way through. So again, my general advice is don't do it, which is not particularly good advice. I get the feeling my camera is fogging up because it's cold and damp. So if I've gone all blurry, that's why. Carrying on. What should everyone call you? I'm getting into Nerf modding. What grease do you recommend for my mods? Well, it depends on what you're greasing. If you're greasing like the metal gears in an upgraded Stampede, you're going to use something different than you would use in the plunger tube of a Springer. The key thing is that it needs to be something that doesn't degrade rubber. Certain lubricants will in fact have a negative effect on your O-rings. It'll cause them to break down. My general advice is buy whatever Out of Darts is selling on his website, because he has tested everything on his website and stands by it, and so things like Super Lube that he sells is a really good option. So same thing with Foam Blast Shop, if they're still active. They also have some good lubricants. I think they also sell Super Lube. Yeah, it's cheap, it works, you get a lot of it, it'll go a long way. Ben Mayo. When will we finally see a rubber duck gun attachment for your bazooka or ire? In the past? I've already done that. I've shown it on the channel. I don't remember what video it was, but I've definitely fired ducks from ire. Several of the old attachments work just fine. They were designed for the larger ammo types, and I can just shove a duck in there, and it will fire. Not particularly well, but it'll fire a duck, and that's the goal. Django Rum Runner. If you had to choose between an expanded plunger tube or a heavier spring to up the performance of a stock blaster, which would you choose? Heavier spring. All day. It's just so much easier to install. Take the old spring out, put the new spring in. Expanded plunger tubes can involve a lot more work and pretty much require a heavier spring to actually function. So, heavier spring. Phantom Zone Minecraft. Is there auxiliary in Australia? Yes, they call themselves the Auxiliary, which is just fantastic, and are, for the most part, represented by Judd the Aussie Nerf Cowboy, who's been featured on my channel a couple of times. He's got his own channel, as well as, I think, Instagram. Anyway, yeah, they're out there. I'm hoping to actually visit next year, 2023. Cohen Kuiman. Which Warhammer 40k book would you recommend for someone who just recently started getting into the lore? I am unfortunately woefully unqualified to answer this question, because while I have quite a few Warhammer books, and while there are over 500 in the Black Library, to this point, I've only gotten around to reading one of them, and it was not the one to start with. Avoid anything that involves Chaos Space Marines. I recommend, the ones that have been recommended to me are ones that involve the Imperial Guard. So any of the Yarick series, or the, what's the other one? Gaunt. The Gaunt series are the ones that have been recommended to me. And I have a bunch of both of them, I just haven't gotten around to actually reading any of them. So. Train? Or, pretty sure that's a train. Sounds sickly. Might be a truck on the train tracks. Alright, I have a single package, and I'm gonna open it. Ah, direct hit. Right, I have been sent a package by Jonathan Sema, and we're gonna see what it is. A note! The Venerable Captain Xavier. Look at that, super cool. Dear Chaylo, aka the Venerable Captain Xavier, enclosed is a copy of my debut collection of poetry, which was self-published back in February of this year. I'm giving it to you as a token of gratitude for the untold joy your videos have brought me during times of particular duress. I hope it serves as a humble addition to your ever-expanding library. If my literary journey has taught me anything, it's that dreams, however impossible, are always worth chasing. So to whatever end, I implore you to never stop chasing yours. Sincerely, Jonathan Sema. Whoa, Black Betty. to finish the sentiment refers to the volume's title page. Well, that is awesome. The little black book. Come on, open up. Give me the thing. Give me the thing. How dare you deny me the thing, you wretched tape. Little black book. To Chaylo, Bangarang. Little black book. A poetry sequence. First movement. I. A poet must be like a surgeon. He takes a lifetime of words and molds them to his choosing, cutting away the excess like fat off the bone, leaving only the choicest words of which to feed off. I like that. Sometimes the glue becomes undone, where metal minds prevail. On other days, the clouds collect in silence, where we fail. I feel factory fresh tonight. I feel most inclined to peel back the many layers of this sunburn of the mind. May newfound knowing crack the core of old corrupted kinds. I feel factory fresh tonight, refreshed and redefined. This is amazing, sir. Free verse, where there is no rhyme or meter, or I have never been any good at that. And I am just endlessly impressed by people who are able to write that way. I have to be something like iambic pentameter, you know, sonnet form or epic form. I've never been any good at free verse, except I found one file of free verse on my computer that I didn't remember writing, and when I checked the timestamp, it turns out apparently I was getting up at 4 in the morning and randomly writing free verse and then going back to sleep and forgetting about it. But free verse is something that has always fascinated me, and I've never been any good at it. So this is amazing, and I look forward to reading through it all. That is cool. Congratulations on the accomplishment of your dream, and thank you very much for sending me this. It will indeed find a place of honor on my poetry shelf in my study. Anyway, there we have it. You were all awesome. You sent me the coolest stuff, and thank you all for watching.